9 in 10 comments about me are favorable, so thank you. But 1 in 10 people who post on comment boards call me a murderer. To them I say no, but what about you? Prove you're not under penalty of 57 years in prison. But all your evidence is going to get destroyed by the prosecutor. The judge will be out to lynch you, and the only lawyer you can get will work against you. Wait, that doesn't sound fair? But all what happens to you? Or someone you love? That so-called trial was nothing but a carefully crafted cover-up by the Union County Judiciary, Prosecutor, and Public Defender's Office. That creep rapist was friends with the head judge, the head prosecutor, and the mayor. He was president of the Clark Police Union, and his brother was the chief of police. There's no possible way I could get a fair trial in that county. They weren't interested in justice. They were interested in revenge against me for killing their buddy. I was used to people inviting me home after my video. A random Bill Cosby type invited me to his house. I drank beer, went to bed in the guest room, and woke up with what I thought was drool on my face. I went to meet a friend who didn't show, and I called the Cosby type for a place to stay. He drugged my drink early because he had work the next day. I woke up being assaulted and fought from underneath. My PTSD kicked in, and I lost a chunk of time. I didn't know he died until I was arrested, but after the second night I realized it wasn't drool the first night. This horrific saga didn't start with me. 50 years ago, Joseph Galfie was a military judge in West Germany. His brother James was a military policeman. This was during the Cold War, so Joseph Galfie prosecuted homosexuals and Soviet spies, despite being homosexual himself. Both Joseph and James hid this fact from their superiors, but did they hide it from the Soviet spies that they court-martialed? James Galfie blurted out in a police interview that Joseph Galfie was allegedly robbed by a vagrant at his parents' posh shore house in the 70s. James was a local cop at the time, so if a vagrant called the cops and said Joseph drugged and raped him, whoever responded knew the family. Whose side do you think the cops would take? A vagrant or a cop's brother? Just because James Galfie may have covered up Joseph's secrets in the 70s, does that mean he kept covering up for his brother even 50 years later? Well, I published a letter that shows that James used money from Joseph's estate to create a conflict of interest so the drug effect expert Robert Pandina couldn't testify. Pandina stated that my symptoms matched the most common rape drugs, like GHB. The prosecutor said they didn't, but Pandina couldn't testify because of James Galfie. But what about the other cops in Clark? Joseph Galfie was a past president of the Clark Police Union. According to Robert Mega, the first responding officer to the scene was an actual law client of Joseph Galfie. According to Richard DiCaprio, the officer regularly had lunch with Joseph. How about all the other Clark police officers at the crime scene where evidence of rape was destroyed? You think they might have been clients of Joseph Galfie too?